Hey everyone, another run through with my Sanity deck. This time I swapped out Chairman Hero because I don't think he will really come into much use. So instead of Chairman Hero, with 5 influence freed up, I I removed another influence point and managed to get myself 6 influence, which allows me to splash Scorched Earth and Seesaws, 1 copy of each. Scorched Earth is great because it works very well off brain damage and is not expected in a HB Engineering the Future deck. So I'm seeing how effective Scorched Earth can be. As long as I can get to a good credit advantage, I can pull off a Sea Scorch combo to kill the runner without them even knowing. As long as they've taken at least 2 brain damage. So this game I'm playing against Gabriel, and since it's Gabriel, I need to ice up both HQ and R&D and have the means to rest ice. I've played so much Gabriel in preparation for all the tournaments, and I know one of the most annoying ice that Gabriel can ever face is a Viper, because Gabriel's usually pack York instead of Guardian Blade or Zuki Master, so they cannot break through Viper easily, and they have 0 link, so unlike Andromeda, you cannot simply pay through to get through. But he does pay through the trace tree on the first click, which is a smart thing, because by paying 3, he can get 2 back and a card access, which is worth it. But that of course comes at the cost of 1 click. He loses a click to Viper, so I'm happy about that. So the game continues, and I draw a lot with Jackson. He doesn't trash my Jackson because he's poor, and that's very good for me. It allows me to speedily get out my ice. And yep, I'm maintaining a good position. I have enough credits to rest the ice that I need to rest, so he cannot get through. He's going to get through the R&D now, but he won't get another access until he gets his Kuroda out. I was hoping he would bounce off the run so I can pull off my successful demonstration. I replaced Diversified Portfolio with Successful Demo in my deck, and I think it is for the better because I haven't found a single game where I actually bothered to use Diversified Portfolio. Whereas for Successful Demo, it could come into use if the runner chooses to bounce off an ice or what they think is a threat. So he runs my Encryption Protocol and chooses to use Bank Job instead. Yep, my deck is weak to anything that can leverage on naked remotes, the likes of Security Testing, and Bank Job will get the better of me. But he has a lot of money, but he has no way of getting through my Viper just yet, so I'm feeling very safe. As long as I can keep Gabe out of my centrals, especially HQ, I'm good to go. Let's see, I draw into my Ichi, and I'm very tempted to play it. So I need some ice over R&D, Archives, in case he gets a sneak door out, so that's where it goes. And is that, yeah, I think I sneak out an accelerated beta test onto the board. I'm not sure, we'll have to see about that. Alright, so he runs my Jackson, which I trash. Retrieve all the agendas that I previously stowed away. And he begins destroying all my remotes. No, I think I installed a pet campaign. I believe that should be a pet campaign. Yep, it's a pet campaign. Oh no, it's an Adonis, my bad. Yep. Naked Adonis is fine. We are paying 3 to trash it. I don't really care. I installed the Eli, so now HQ is really secure. As long as I protect myself from Siphon, I should be good. Although a part of me really wishes to siphon him, make him siphon so that he'll float tags and I can pull off my Scorched Earth. But we'll see about that. Yep, things go on. And he finally finds his York, so good for him, but a single York won't get you through HQ. So yeah, my goal is to create a server where he cannot penetrate through at all to any of the 3 central servers. R&D is pretty fine because there's a Heimdall over it, so I'm now at the point where I have enough money to rest the Heimdall. So he's going to be in a lot of trouble if he runs into R&D. He can't run to HQ. The only place he can run to is archives for the data sucker, which he just installed. And protecting it is an Ichi. I'm more than happy for him running into Ichi. Alright, so I draw both my combo pieces out. Seesaws and Scorched are both in my hand, so if he makes one wrong move, he's dead. I also have a trap laid out with 3 advancement tokens. I wanted to masquerade it as mandatory upgrades, but obviously he's not falling for it. So, too bad for me, but looks like I'm not going to get the chance to pull off 3 brain damage, unfortunately. Alright, so he decides to go through R&D to get his data sucker token, and I punish him heavily for that. With no clicks left, he cannot click through either of the barriers. He's forced to spend a lot of money just to prevent any of the brain damage subroutines from firing. This is a very, very big problem with running on your last click against HB. You always want to have the option to spend clicks to break subroutines. And because he bounced off, I could finally play my successful demo. Although, at this point, actually, having a diversified portfolio is just about as good now that I see it. So, yeah, I don't know. So yes, I did sneak out an accelerated beta test because I saw he was low on credits. Figured he wouldn't run it to trash anything because he had no credits. So, as a result, I managed to res the Fenris and the Janus. Ooh! Yep, I hit the jackpot right there, and the jackpot's going right over HQ. So there's no way he's going to get in. With a Janus over HQ, a Heimdall over R&D, and an Ichi 2.0 on archives, I've won the game basically. Gabe has no data sucker tokens, he can't get in at all. He's screwed. He's completely screwed. All I need to do now is to set up a nice secure remote and score agendas to win. I think here I make a little mistake. I install a pet campaign and spend a Viper to protect the pet campaign. I shouldn't have done that. I should be fortifying one of my existing servers so that I can score agendas later when I need to. Because I still don't have any advanced mechanisms from hand. I should be trying to create a scoring remote, but instead I'm just solidifying my income, which I don't really need since I already have a pet campaign working for me. I continue drawing up, seeing even more agendas. I already jettisoned one Sentinel defense program into my archives, I think. So now I start to think of my scoring remote, and I decided that the first pet campaign, the one nearest to my HQ, is protected by a quandary, which breaks for free by York. So for a lot of my servers, a lot of my remote servers are actually porous. Alright, he runs the Jackson, and I do not trash the Jackson. There are, I think, 4 agenda points in my archives, but I don't trash it because I figure he won't be running archives. And he checks the remote, and nope, I couldn't sneak the ABT out again. So this time he steals it. Yeah, I really shouldn't be taking this kind of risk at this point in time. I have a very solid lead. He cannot get into my central servers. I should be solidifying myself by making a good remote scoring server instead of trying to play tricks like this, which are unlikely to pay off since he has Desperado out. That was a huge mistake for me, and I mean, it was a risk that definitely wasn't warranted. Yeah. Why take such a huge risk when you're so far ahead? It's pointless. So he decides to run archives to get his data sucker token, and a Viper appears to sap away 1 click from him. That was his wrong move. By losing 1 click, he now cannot click through my Ichi. He decides to continue, and I show him the bad news. I get to trash 2 programs and trace him for 3. So I'm thinking of which programs to trash. York and Corroder makes the most sense. I went for the Mimic instead because actually I'm not sure why. Yeah, I'm not sure why I went for the Mimic instead, but well, in any case, now he cannot get through. Yeah, I think I went for the Mimic instead because if he doesn't have a Mimic out, he will be vulnerable to the likes of Fenris and anything that does brain damage. So because I didn't reshuffle stuff back with Jackson Howard, he stole 4 points. Yes, that was a huge mistake on my part once again. I didn't think he would run archives like that. I thought if he were to run archives, he would be doing it through Sneak Door Beta, since running through archives is very pointless. But I forgot that he wants data sucker tokens so badly. So, oh man, that was a huge mistake. Suddenly, he's on match point. Even though I have the game wrapped up in my hands, he's on match point. He shouldn't have been. And yep, I'm just floundering right now. The only consolation is that he's not going to be able to run through HQ R&D. So, which means that he cannot steal agendas from my centrals. So as long as I get a remote setup, I'm all good. But now I'm getting agenda flooded, so-called agenda flooded. And yep, I'm forced to throw more agendas into archives. But at least he cannot get through archives because he doesn't have a mimic out. He cannot get past the Fenris. So that's good for me. I'm now just really desperate to start scoring agendas because it's really high time I start doing so. And I joined to another NAPD. Alright, Heimdall, finally, it's time to go. So I install Heimdall on my most secure server, which is protected by a Quandary. So with Heimdall and Quandary, he can get past the Heimdall, but not the Quandary. If he does an inside job, he has no yoke to deal with it. But he special orders the solution to every single problem in the game. Wait for it. Femme Fatale. And I saw he was on 16 credits, and I knew it was pretty much game over. Femme Fatale goes on inside ice, and an inside job seals the deal. I tried to pass it off as a trap by letting him through without raising the ice, and of course it didn't pay off. He scored the ABT and pulled the victory from my pants. I really didn't want to showcase this game online because it's such an embarrassment. You have no idea. That was totally my game to lose. Who on earth has Janus, Heimdall, and Ichi protecting each of their 3 central servers and can still lose the game? Only a stupid player making stupid moves, doing stupid things, and just being a dumb, terrible, awful player. Yep, that's me. All of those criteria fulfilled. Chucking 4 points into agendas, 4 points of agendas into archives without recycling them with Jackson Howard, thinking that you're so smart, thinking that the enemy won't run it. Making risks like throwing a naked agenda on the board when it's totally uncalled for. So many stupid mistakes, and that's what caused my downfall. I feel so dumb. Yes. Please, learn a lesson, don't be like me. What else can I say? But yes, this does showcase how well my deck can work, especially when you get the ABTs pulling off and when the corp doesn't trash your pack campaigns. The drip economy really paid off for me. It's just that I didn't make use of it at all by playing so stupidly towards the end. Thanks for watching. Sorry for wasting your time with such awful gameplay.